Hey guys, what's up? It's JR Cuber, and in this video we have a pretty big unboxing from thecubicle.com. In here should be all of the new Max lubricants, so the Max Fleet and Max Command lubricants, as well as the puzzles that they have released with those lubes. So let's go ahead and talk about the lubricant first. All right, looks like we've got two lubricants in here. So let's go ahead and take a look at these lubricants. These are two new lubricants from the Angstrom line from the Cubicle, which is always very, very exciting. There's a lot of really cool new stuff that they're always working on. So let's go ahead and read about both of these lubes. So it says the Cubicle is proud to announce two new lubes in our premium lube lineup, Max Fleet and Max Command. These lubes are used and endorsed by Speedkeeper Max Park and are sure to provide a feeling like no other lubes in the current market. Max Fleet is a non-Newtonian piece lube with a very high molecular weight, resulting in a material with strikingly unique shear properties. Max Fleet is extremely quick, but with little to no drag. Note, please exercise caution when dispensing Max Fleet, as it can release in a big stream if dispensed too aggressively. All right, good to know. Max Command is a silicone-based core lube that creates smooth lubricity between metal to non-metal surfaces. To use, dispense with the green tip on springs and screws. Max Command also works great on edge and corner tracks to provide control. All right, so those are the lubricants. Here they are, Max Command and Max Fleet. Both have a very, very interesting look to them, just looking at them through the syringes already. So this is Max Fleet, the faster piece lube, and you can kind of already see that the lubricant isn't really a liquid. It's kind of hard to describe. And then Max Command is just a silicone-based lube, but at the same time, I'm kind of noticing like these crystal artifacts, kind of. I don't know how well you can see that. So the makeup of this is also quite unique as well. So before we hop into the puzzles that they sent with this that are already set up with these lubricants, I'm going to go ahead and try both of these in a, not a stock cube, but a cube that I've cleaned out, which is this cube right here, the Volk Elite. The lubricant that this comes with is pretty terrible, so I went ahead and wiped all of it out, so the cube is totally dry right now. So I'm very curious to see how both of these lubricants will affect this puzzle. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the core lube, which is Max Command. First thing I need to do though, of course, is make sure that my desk doesn't get dirty. And we're gonna go ahead and take this apart. Haven't lubricated a cube in a video in a very, very long time. All right, so we've got everything all apart except for the core. So basically what I want to make sure to lubricate is this base part in the center, so right in the middle there, and then also underneath the top of the screw, so right there. All right, so let's go ahead and get this Max Command going. I'm going to take this off and put on the nozzle. Let's just get this to start coming out. Oh, there we go. So that's probably way too much, but I'm just going to kind of put some underneath the screw there. I'm also just going to put a tiny bit around this contact point on the spring and on this contact point on the other side. So really not that much. It doesn't take much. And it actually probably was a bit overkill to put lube on both contact points. So I'm not going to use that much from this point on. But there we go. And we just have 5 more to go. All right, there we go. The core has been lubricated. I want to put a little bit of this stuff on the tracks of 1 or 2 pieces because the card recommended it. So I'm basically just going to liberally apply a lot to pretty much just this one edge. Just kind of put it all around, not on the actual piece itself, but just on the base. So just this section right here. All right, now we can put this away. We're just going to start putting this together. All right, so now we are down to just the last few pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and crack open this Max Fleet and see how this is. So this is the non-Newtonian stuff, so I'm really curious to see what this is going to be like. So let's see if we can, oh geez. Yep, that is what the card is talking about. It does come out very, very quickly. So basically this is quite liquidy. It's just that it doesn't really act very liquidy. So I'll kind of show you what happens if I put some on. So you can see that it is liquidy to a degree, but it also doesn't really move like a liquid. You can kind of see when I spread it around a little bit, it kind of just all globs together. So it's very, very strange. I'm going to do a little bit on this last edge piece, actually right on this part. It also kind of sticks to the syringe, which is funny, but you kind of have to get it to unstick. and stick to the cube. But there we go. Just seems like there's like a much higher surface tension maybe. Is that, if that's what it is? I don't know. I'm going to botch any kind of scientific explanation for how this stuff works, but there we go. So now let's just go ahead and start breaking it in. And hopefully this stuff, ooh, it's already kind of spreading to the outside. I just want this to spread around inside the cube. But already the feel has quite drastically changed. I really like the way this feels. It definitely kind of smooths out the turning, especially on this cube, because the stock lube kind of makes the cube very harsh and not very fluid. But this definitely makes the cube feel a lot more fluid and stable. So the tagline of this lubricant is quickness under control. So that seems to be the main selling point, is that the cube will still be fast when you need it to move quickly, when you spam turns, but it also still retains a certain level of controllability. And that's kind of exactly what I'm feeling right now. When I'm turning slow, the cube feels kind of sluggish, not really slow, but just not the fastest cube. But if I start spamming TPS, the cube kind of immediately speeds up and kind of adapts to adjust to whatever my turn speed is, which I think is really cool. Also, I feel like my tensions are slightly different than what they were before because I just unscrewed everything. So I'm going to have to mess with the tensions a bit. The cube feels a bit loose right now, but just to do a quick, hand scramble solve, let's see how this is. Yeah, so already I like this quite a bit more than the way it was before. The base Volk Elite with no lubricant was really not that great, but this is definitely a huge improvement. So yeah, overall, I'm already a fan of this lubricant. Now let's go ahead and check out the pre-set up puzzles that the Cubicle sent as well. All right, so I believe there are probably going to be some GAN puzzles in here. That's what I imagine. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what we got. Yep, so we got a Max GAN X and a Max GAN XS. Awesome. And also, I don't think I've actually explained this yet. I know it's on the card, but I didn't actually say it in the video. But in case you guys aren't aware, this lubricant is basically approved by Max Park, one of the fastest speed cubers in the world. And this is the lube that he now personally uses in his puzzles, of course. But basically, Max just teamed up with the Cubicle to create a new type of lubricant that works specifically with his turn style. But of course, the idea is too that it will work with basically everyone as well. All right, so let's go ahead and check out these puzzles. I'm going to go ahead and start with the GAN X. So this is, hope you enjoy this puzzle to the max. That's pretty awesome. All right. So this is new. This is like a new little like mini business card that comes with, I guess, the Cubicle premium boxes. So we also get, of course, a cube stand as well as the adjustment stuff. So we get the, we get the GES nuts, the magnets. All right, let's go ahead and crack this open. All right, so for these puzzles, we get this super nice logo once again on the blue side. So what it looks like is the Cubicle is eventually going to have different lines of puzzles for every side of the cube. And I think all that's left is orange at this point. There's a line of puzzles for every other color, right? So we have blue for the Max line, we have Angstrom, Mystic, Celeritas, and I guess just normal stuff like Cubicle Pro Shop, something like that. And so all we have left now is orange. Also, this is the GAN XS. I imagine the GAN X is in this box, but I can tell just from the matte plastic that this is the GAN XS. But either way, let's go ahead and turn it, see what it's like. All right, wow. So this is quite a bit better than a lot of the custom cubes that I get out of the box. A lot of the time, these puzzles take a long time to break in. You really got to work with them. But this one feels good pretty much right out of the box. It has a very similar type of feel as the Volk Elite that I just lubricated. I'm sure there are other lubricants in here besides the Max lubricant. That's kind of how all of these puzzles work. But this lubricant in particular seems like it's going to go very, very well with the GAN XS. So one thing about the lubricant that I didn't really describe, but something that I was feeling, is that it gives the cube a bit of a papery feeling. I know this is very weird and kind of hard to describe, but it almost gives the cube a matte feeling. Like if the cube had a matte finish on the inside. That really doesn't make any sense, but I don't know if you guys get that. But because of that, it actually matches the GAN XS very well, because it kind of makes the lubricant kind of makes the puzzle feel the way it feels on the outside on the inside. It's really not the best way to describe it, but it's kind of the best I can come up with, honestly, right now. It does work very, very well with this puzzle. And this is also breaking in really fast. This cube has gotten a lot faster just since I did first turns. The lubricant is supposed to make the cube fast. That's something I should make clear. Even though it has a slightly slower feel when you're turning slowly, if you want to turn fast, the loop, you still will be able to turn quickly. Like, I'm still able to spam TPS really well. But I also do get that sense of control that you might not get with another type of lubricant. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. It's kind of something you have to experience for yourself. But anyways, that's the GAN XS. Let's go ahead, and I hope this is actually a GAN X and not just another GAN XS. This one says, "Boom, baby." Quote from Max Park himself. Boom, baby. And some love from the pro shop, of course. Man, that is awesome. I wish this box wasn't so torn up, because I really want to keep this. Maybe I'll just cut the top off, because this is really funny. All right, so in here we also get a spare set of caps. We get the adjustment system, another stand, and the puzzle. Okay, so now I'm confused, because this is also a GAN XS. Or maybe it's not. Hold on. Oh, whoa, okay. Okay, so this is a GAN X. This just has matte plastic. This has the normal magnets, and this is obviously the GAN XS because it has the adjustable magnets. But this one is just the ones that you pop out with these things. So that actually was right. Okay, so this is the GAN X. And this is the GAN XS. Yes, they feel like two completely different puzzles. Okay, so yeah, this GAN XS, right out of the box, again, it's not quite as broken in. This one feels a lot looser and a little bit more uncontrollable. And that's just down to the setup of the puzzle itself, because I know that, again, XS really doesn't feel like this, but right now this feels very kind of loose and floppy and unstable. What I'm probably going to end up doing is just setting this up to the same settings and tension settings and everything that I have my normal GAN XS on. That way it'll really be a good comparison. I'll probably end up doing the same to this one as well. Although this one feels really, really good out of the box, so I don't really feel the need to really change much about it. This one, though, I do want to kind of set up properly because it just feels a bit loose out of the box, but I imagine it'll perform pretty much just as good as my normal GAN X, just with a much more unique kind of feeling that this lubricant provides. So that being the case, this being a GAN X is really crazy because the lubricant is making it feel, and maybe it's the pieces as well, so it's hard to say for sure, but it almost feels like, it does kind of feel like the lubricant is playing a small part in it, making this cube feel a lot more like a GAN XS than a normal GAN X. And this cube just feels pretty much like a GAN XS, really nothing super different about it, although the kind of papery, very subtle feeling of the GAN XS is even more accentuated by the lubricant, I would say. So yeah, these are both pretty awesome puzzles. I think they both have great potential. So yeah, what I'm going to go ahead and do is break in both of these puzzles a bit more, probably change the setup on this one a bit, and I'll come back and give you guys some more of my final thoughts on the Max lubricant and both of these puzzles. So I've had a chance to break in both of these puzzles, and I gotta say, they are already some of my favorites from the cubicle. Both of these cubes are awesome. For the GAN X, I didn't change anything about the setup, but I did change the GAN XS. What's nice about the GAN IPG system is that because there are specific settings for each form of customization, you can basically match cubes so that they have the exact same spring tension, compression, and magnet settings. So I basically just set up this GAN XS to be exactly the same as my other GAN XS, although I did end up going with a slightly lower spring compression. But yeah, both of these cubes broke in really nicely and are both very fast, but still controllable. Both cubes respond to how I turn the cube very well, and it doesn't seem to matter if I switch up my turn style at all. These cubes can adapt better than most that I've tried. One problem I had with the GAN X is that after a lot of solves, it would just always get too fast and really locky. However, I haven't had any of those problems on this cube. The cube always stays controllable, but at the same time, I can always turn pretty much as fast as I want without worrying that the cube will get in the way. And I think that really is the essence of what a truly great cube should be. I think that when you're solving, especially in competition, all of your mental resources should be spent trying to solve the cube as as efficiently as possible. You shouldn't be spending any mental resources trying to keep the cube in control, or vice versa, trying to get the cube to keep up with you. I think that both of these cubes sit in that middle ground very well. When I'm solving, the actual nature of the cube just melts away and I'm completely locked in and focused on the solve itself. None of my mental energy is spent trying to control the cube. Now obviously you still need to have accurate and fluid turning, and I get the whole cuber not the cube mentality, but the cube can play a big part in that. The best cubes will allow you to just focus on your solve and not really think about the cube itself at all. That being said, both of these cubes are really enjoyable to use. The papery matte type feeling that I described earlier has not gone away, and I don't think it will. It matches really well with the GAN XS especially, which already had a feeling like that before this lubricant. I actually like both of these cubes over their original counterparts. The Max GAN X is more controllable and versatile than my original one, and the Max GAN XS is faster and feels a little more stable than my original one. The only thing I don't like about these puzzles is the matte finish. I still don't understand why GAN is doing that now, but luckily I know that it will eventually go away. After the extensive use I've already put on my original GAN XS, that cube is basically glossy now. The matte finish just went away due to lots of friction, so I'll just have to keep using both of these puzzles a lot, which I was already going to do anyway. So yeah, I definitely recommend both of these puzzles, although I will give a slight edge to the GAN X. I just like the feeling more and it feels just a bit more stable, but both cubes are some of the best I've ever tried. But they're not cheap. The Max GAN X goes for $74, with the Max GAN XS being a little cheaper at $70. So definitely a steep price tag for both puzzles, although most of that cost does come from the base price of both puzzles. If you're already in the market for either of these puzzles, I would highly consider spending the little extra money to upgrade to one of these Max versions. The links to both will be in the description as always. Thanks of course to the Cubicle for sending me the lubricants as well as both of these puzzles for free to review. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit that like button, turn on notifications, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.